Welcome to Rise of the Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
And I'm Brownie. And we're only 2 minutes late.
Woohoo! That wasn't so bad. Considering we had shot something before this. We were actually live on Brick Bowl. Had a couple hiccups. But
There's more hiccups than successes, I would say.
that should be our slogan. Rise of the Podcast. More hiccups than successes. Super funny. No, it's been a really good week. This is what we were building. It's not even a surprise. We got our hands on the Lego bonsai tree, and I am stoked. Look at how cool this thing is. So,
My favorite, is that what you're going to point out?
yeah.
My absolute favorite thing is all these little light pink flowers are frogs. They're little frogs. They're so stinky cute. Just gonna pop. Nope. Never mind. Gonna break the whole entire tree.
Oh.
Just
Oh, my
kidding.
goodness, Karen.
You have brought the dishonor to your family.
Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
But all the green you see around it, you can either make it a bonsai tree or a cherry tree, either one. And technically there is cherry tree bonsais, I believe. I do think there's
I think you're
smaller ones.
correct.
Well, they make bonsai trees out of like little pines and stuff like that too. There's not just like one specific. Because I know, like walking through the state fair, there's always like in the floral area, there's one section that's bonsais.
I love those trees. Chris, the ones that like, it looks like a 150-foot tall pine tree, but it's actually only like this big. And they've got like all the detail, like it's got a really thick trunk and then like little tiny. They're just.
It's like model railroading.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like you're looking at a tree through a tilt shift.
I do remember in Chuck, John.
Yeah, he has one. Yeah.
Like this big, bulky, like military guy, like, and he like there's many scenes where he's sitting there clipping his little bonsai tree and getting it nice and perfect.
It's what you got to do to quell the murderous rage.
Right. It's his zen moment. Just. Yep.
All right, well,
Also, sorry, really quick. During the course of the week, we got listener mail, which we will be reading later.
Ooh.
So,
well, since you brought it
I
up,
was gonna say, we're gonna do that right now.
if you send us some listener mail, we will respond to it. You still have time to be read on this week's listener mail. You can reach out to us at contact@riseofthepodcast.com.
and send us, like, just anything Star Wars related,
Anything.
some sort of story you want to share.
What I should buy for Powerball tickets?
Yeah, you can razz Jeremy if you want. Oh, so speaking of the Powerball, there's a Powerball Mega Million. Both of them are up there.
Really
Powerball is
quick,
like
Chris.
over 600 million, and
Did you
Mega
see-
Millions is 850 million.
Do you
right
see
now.
David's?
I
Comment?
did.
Okay.
I'll get to that in a sec.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
Um,
Cool.
Thank
you.
But I was talking with Jeremy. It's like, how annoyed would you be if you bought a Powerball ticket that had the winning numbers of the Mega Millions?
Yes. Oh, that would be destructive.
Wait. Okay. So, what's the difference?
They're just different.
They're different lotteries.
Yep.
Oh,
So
okay.
Mega Million used to like be like New York and
Yeah, it's the
certain
East
states.
Coast. Yeah.
Okay.
And then whoever didn't have Mega Millions had Powerball, and then somehow
It's
they're-
all just the same.
Now
Or
now
not
they're
the same,
sold
but-
everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That you can get most Lotto.
So yeah, because like you're like watching the numbers, like, oh my god, then you realize that it's the wrong game.
That would be so depressing. You're like, yes, I won. Dang it.
Can you imagine like you're just instantly burning all these bridges because you think you're a multi-millionaire?
Right?
So-
I don't like you, and I don't like you, and I never liked you.
People say like playing the lottery's for fools, blah blah blah, but you can't play if you don't win. And I usually only.
Yeah.
You can't win if you don't play.
You can't play if you don't.
Well, that should be their slogan. Everybody gets a slogan.
That's
Or
a T-shirt. You can't
surprise.
play if you don't win.
You can't win if you don't play, right? So sometimes it's fun to spend 6, 7, up to $10 and just get around because the fun of daydreaming for the week.
Oh
In
yeah.
the amount of time that we've been married, I think you've maybe purchased 6 Powerball tickets.
I only even touch them when it's like over 250 million. That's the only time I touch them. And I hadn't even been buying, and then I missed the $650 Mega Million ticket because that drawing was yesterday.
Yeah.
And the Powerball was drawing tonight. The cutoff for that was at what, 6 p.m.
I think it's 7.
Okay, question for you. What time can people buy Powerball or lottery in the morning? Because people would always come in and the machine truly wouldn't be on yet.
Yeah, it doesn't let you sign in until 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, so you can actually buy them at like 6 a.m.?
You can,
Got it. Crazy.
but there's like so it'll let you sell up until midnight, and then it shuts down from midnight till 4.
Okay.
Then at 4 a.m. you can log back in.
So here's what I was going to say. I already told Chris, so if we win $850 million, this is all before taxes, right? We're splitting half with Chris. So Chris is getting
Sorry,
half.
I had the audio backwards for you guys. You guys are on the shotgun mic.
Oh, really?
my gosh, that's why we were so quiet.
So more hiccups and surprises. Can't
It's just
play if
never
you
ends
don't.
with me, dude.
You can't play if you don't hiccup. Okay. So, anyways, so half Chris and I are splitting.
Thank you guys for pointing that out. Hello, Gabe. I'm just gonna hit chat real quick. So David pointed out the audio thing. Quitting your job only realize you broke. Yeah.
So here's what I was gonna do because this is fun. This is what everybody can think about. The drawing's on Tuesday, so this is your guys' fun things for the week, okay? And I'm saying it here, so now this is like ironclad. Chris and I are splitting the pot 50-50. What Chris does with his half,
Kara doesn't get any.
what Chris does
Okay,
with his half.
here's what happens when you're married. What's his is mine and what's mine is mine. So either way, I
So
get
we
part
got to
of the
get to
money.
the fun part. So so from there, so this is all before taxes and everything, but that leaves us with like $400 million. All right. So I already told Chris, the guy that sold me the ticket, $1 million. $1 million. Gabe, $5 million to you, Gabe. $5 million. Okay.
We'll come down
Something
and
to
give
look
it to you
forward
personally.
in a briefcase.
Can you imagine getting onto an
It'd be
airplane
like
with a
10
briefcase full of cash?
I don't think you can fly with more than 10,000, so we'd have to pull it out down there.
We'd have to put it in a bank in South America.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
How would you move $5 million in cash to Puerto Rico?
And then
Venmo.
Dave, you get 5, and Brad, you get 5 as well. So there we go. Juliet, you get 5 as well. There we go.
And then, of
Locked it
course,
in.
we'll take care of our families for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
They cumulatively get 5.
You guys can figure out how you're going to split it.
Brad says Kara's always left out.
I know, right, Brad? Seriously.
Well, I'm wasting all of my money on camera gear.
I know, right?
Here's what I'd do. If I had $400 million, I'd build the most gigantic skyscraper possible in Duluth.
There you go.
Just as like an FU to people.
Yeah, there you go.
Like right on the top of the hill. Because like if you build them like in like downtown or whatever, you got to go up 600 feet even to break the top of the hill.
Right.
Build
You're
it
just
right
doing
next
that.
to anger.
You're just doing that so you can then fly the drone within so many feet of your building.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just go and just launch off the top and just get like... I wonder... Because Duluth has height restrictions.
Yeah.
And on top of the hill too, like I'd probably be in danger of whacking into planes if I went above so far, but...
It's worth it.
Yeah, I'll just put a light on the top of it.
Yeah, then you're good.
The airplanes have to fly around me.
Yeah.
I live here. You're just coming through.
You're just coming through. You're just passing through.
Oh, my goodness.
Brad said for $5 million, I need you to put me to work to earn it. You can be our intern, Brad.
Brad, you
there
can be
you
our
go.
intern.
Yeah.
Or not, Gabe. Gabe or Brad?
That's Brad.
Brad. We'll fly here. We'll buy you a house here. We'll have an employee house or whatever. We'll have like a TikTok house, right? Brad, I want to make you make TikToks.
For $5 million, I would not move into a TikTok house.
Well, no, if it's just Brad, because he's got his dog. We can see Brad's dog.
Well, yeah.
Or we could move out of the crappy Minnesota winters to somewhere nice. Like
Well,
Isn't it
Puerto Rico or California or Georgia or something.
what kind of dog do you have? It's a
Malinois?
Malinois.
Malinois?
It looks like the German Shepherd.
Gabe said he'd get better internet service.
Yes!
Yeah, we would finally be able to...
Okay.
Okay, the stream wasn't so bad last night, Gabe. I think I only had like one time when I just kind of glitched a little bit, and then it was fine.
So let's address that really quick. I know Chris has an actual topic for tonight. I don't mean to derail it, but I do want to talk
That's
about
fine.
this. So I got a notification.
Malinois?
Malinois.
Malinois?
Oh!
Malinois.
Also, Gabe, I even hate to say this on air.
The Rise House.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I hate to say this on air. So anyway, okay, so here's the deal.
I hate to say this, but let me say it.
Let me say this. So Gabe went live on Twitch on Tuesday, and I got the notification on my phone, and I was able to tune in, and it was Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday? Because then
think it
Wednesday I
was-
couldn't make it. Thursday? It's Wednesday.
I think it was Wednesday.
It was Wednesday. Because then Thursday I couldn't make it, but then Friday I was back on again. That's how it was. So Wednesday Gabe went live, and it was an absolute blast spending some time on his channel, on his Twitch. It was so much fun. I can see why people love Twitch. And
We're
so,
on Twitch.
Yeah, I know we are. We're on right now.
Isn't
That's
that
where
where
Brad's
Brad's
watching.
Brad's
watching?
watching.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we had an absolute
He
blast.
says it's pronounced Malinois, by the way.
That's what I said.
I
he's
was
just
looking at you when I was
clarifying.
talking to him.
Oh, I was like,
Chris is just clarifying for like gee
I
whiz
was
sake.
right.
It's pronounced Malinois.
It's Malinois.
And so we had an absolute time with Gabe, and it was just Gabe on his Twitch stream that night. So then Thursday I couldn't make it, but Friday he was on. So again, we were on again last night, and it was an absolute blast. I hopped on, was trying to chat as much as I could, but he had like a bunch of people from the Latin Operation Forces there. And what was crazy to me was they were speaking Spanish, and then when we got on, they started speaking English, which was like the coolest thing. So then there was a guy, was it
You guys
Chimera?
are so nice.
Definitely makes you feel inadequate.
Well, no, dude, Carol was like, so do you know when you watch TV and then it's like somebody can speak Spanish? Oh, I should be able to say this now. Oh my goodness. They were teaching us Spanish, sort of, I think. They were saying cabron. And I had to look it up, and it means dumb butt. In Spanish, I believe. It's a catch-all word.
Interesting.
They're going to probably start laughing in a second. Anyways, so I think it was Chimera was saying like it was fun to hear his friends speak English. But then they said, which we've talked about on this channel before, I've thrown around the name Joshi. Well, it's not Joshi,
yeah,
it's Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Because J is pronounced with a like
With an
Y.
H.
I
Yeah.
prefer
I heard
Yoshi.
Yoshi.
I mean, Yoshi's my favorite in Mario. Just like.
So I feel like an absolute heel when we talk because we're like, oh, Joshi does all the flames or Joshi posts everything on LOF this whole entire time,
It's Yoshi.
and it's Yoshi.
We
So
apologize. We're sorry.
We're fixing it right now that it's Yoshi.
Yeah.
So
And it's
Yoshi
Jeremy.
and to all, yeah, it would be Jeremy if we were down there.
And I'm still just Kara.
But anyways, so then I saw that they were all. So Gabe invited me to their Discord server, and then it was really funny to me. I look, they're all on the Discord server using that voice chat for the live stream. And so then I was like, I hope it was all right. I was like, I'll just hop in to the voice chat. So I drop
And you
in.
just started telling stories.
Yeah.
The Jeremy show.
So confusing for everybody who's like just normally strolling through Twitch, and I just like not lined up with normal. But it was a really fun time. I was absolutely laughing with these guys. And so Chris, we were talking about bandwidth, and they were absolutely gutted because they were like what they paid for and like how slow their internet down was there, and then the fact that like we have unlimited bandwidth in Duluth, with Spectrum, it's unlimited. It was like they were just like. Oh, it just was a bummer that they didn't have good internet. Down
Yeah.
there, so
Gabe says, there's the Force and then there's Cabron.
that's what he said last night. Yeah, those are the two things.
Brad said, I was just answering, honestly, 97% of the time, I just say Shepherd and move on to save a lot of time.
Yeah, German Shepherd instead of saying Malinois.
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 It's French.
You come in here and look at my Malinois.
So Gabe, I don't know if you caught earlier. We're gonna read listener mail later on because I just have to read it.
It's
read
from
it.
you.
It's from you.
Jeremy
These-
keeps all of these secrets.
I
He's like,
don't-
I'm just going to surprise you with it.
He's
Well,
like
you
hoarding
just-
it like
you can
this for
see-
me.
Their reaction. You can see and hear their genuine reaction because they haven't seen or heard it yet.
Here's the thing. I should be the one reading listener mail because your reactions to things are much better than mine.
What are you talking about?
Kara's
Like-
made out of stone.
I seriously, when it comes to Jeremy and me, Jeremy's way more emotional than I am, except when it comes to Chip.
Emotional.
When it comes to,
You're being emotional right now.
Chip sheds a tear and it's waterworks out of Kara.
I said, except when it comes to Chip, that is my child. And anyway, I
It's
can't.
a maternal bond.
It
to
is.
Jeremy.
It's a
you would
maternal bond.
understand because you got a dong.
I don't remember what it was. Oh, it was going to Disneyland. Disneyland. I was super excited, but I'm not the type of person that gets. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to Disneyland, and you were like,
Kara's
you're
like,
not even excited,
yeah.
and I was like, I'm excited. This is me excited. Like
Kara's just got a resting calm face.
I do. If I had surprised you with tickets to Disneyland, I mean, you would have been running circles around the neighborhood, like freaking out.
I don't know. You were pretty funny when I told you were going to Hawaii.
Well, but
She almost lost a trip to Hawaii over a bottle of Coke.
vanilla
Coca-Cola.
Coke, vanilla Coke, and brownie cookies from Quick Trip.
So there's the game show. This is a complete tangent. There's the rule of game shows, which now I'm always like aware of, where if you're presented 3 doors,
Yeah,
and
the
then
Monty Hall rule.
the Monty Hall rule, and then so if you're presented 3 doors, and then you pick A, and then the host asks you if you want to change, you always change.
Yep.
You always change because there's something about your odds being better of being correct. Now you're only technically picking from 50-50.
Yeah, instead of 33%.
Instead of 30-30.
Yeah.
It's a little weird, but there's a ton of YouTube videos that explain it. So when anybody ever asks you, I always like go with like, yes, you keep going or whatever. You just keep doing it. So I hid plane tickets to Hawaii. She was going regardless. But like I hid plane tickets on me. And then I was like, I have a surprise for you. And so I gave her a bottle of Coke. And so she took it and
Vanilla Coke.
she was like all excited holding it. And I was like, now you can either keep that or you can move on to the next thing. It could be better or it could be worse, right? So she's like, will you at least share it with me? You know, like,
Okay, you gave me a vanilla Coke and the brownie cookies. So that food, chocolate, amazing brownie fudge cookies. If y'all haven't tried those,
they probably don't have Quick Trip where they're from.
send us your address. We need to send you these suckers. That's all I have to say.
Send
They're
One of
so
the
good.
Midwestern things like, oh, we got to get them cookies from the Quick Trip there.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, come on, Chris, you've had them,
They're
right?
good, yeah.
They're amazing. They're like the best cookie I've ever had.
I think that they've dropped in quality since they first were there.
Really?
At least, unless
There's
I've
more
eaten-
asbestos in them now.
Yeah. More asbestos. Boy, I lost where I was going with that. Anyways.
Yoshi just posted a bunch of flames. Yes.
Yay! And we're saying his name right. Yoshi.
Watch him be like, no, it's
Yoshi. Yeah, right. It's actually pronounced, Joshi.
It's
but
Yoshi.
Yeah, there you go. So it was an absolute blast. I had so much fun last night.
Anyway,
so.
you
You're
had
hiding the
Hawaii
plane
tickets.
tickets.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it's just, and then, so then she did say yes, and she gave it back, and then I gave her the plane tickets.
Oh, okay.
And you had a really good reaction. So I know it's possible. She's just stubborn.
I'm not stubborn. I'm not like you come from a very like excited family.
It's an on the sleeve type of thing.
Yeah, I come from a Scandinavian family. We're like,
Oh, yeah, like
We're
pepper
You know,
Scandinavians.
stew.
cavemen were excited when they made fires.
I know, right? Right? Oh,
and we
and
all know you're 96% more Neanderthal than anyone else.
So just to rub that in and twist that knife, not like that about it's not a twist to me. I think it's hilarious, but just to twist that knife, I got an email from 23andMe saying, "Hey, have you read your 96% Neanderthal report or whatever?
We know that it's hard for you guys to read, but
Here you go. You got to check this out."
he sent me a screenshot of his emails,
It's hilarious.
like circled in red.
Like you wouldn't know which email I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. But there's a whole subreddit called like "Circle Not Needed," and it's it's videos of people circling stuff where you don't need to circle it.
yeah.
It's so funny.
So like talking about like Kara's like reaction and stuff. You know that meme of the guy who's like sitting there like this or whatever, and then
yep.
something happens and it's just like, yes.
He's still at the computer
That's
just like that.
that's Kara.
Yep.
Who's
My,
like-
my favorite variation of that is he using his hands or is it just a really big mustache? Because it looks like it could be a mustache.
I think his hands are resting on his chin, and then he's kind of like sort of like a frowny kind
Yeah,
of face.
exactly. Yep.
Brad says it could have asbestos in it, and it would still be better than black licorice.
Amen to that. Oh, black
Can't believe-
licorice.
You guys and your anti-black licorice.
It's disgusting.
It
There's
is
nothing
the
good
worst.
about it. Nothing good about it.
All right. So we've talked about the week. Again, Gabe, I can't wait to keep watching your Twitch streams, and we'll have to play this weekend some
I was gonna
Battlefront.
say maybe I should play and they can see how bad I am at PvP.
I mean, it would be really funny.
It would be really funny. You guys get more views just because of how bad I am.
And then you need the soundtrack of like the classic clown falling down soundtrack. The whatever, like when people are making mistakes. They play it on America's Funniest Home Videos all the time.
Oh, what, like yakety sax?
Yeah, well, yeah, or
the
just
Benny Hill
any one
theme
of
song
those.
or whatever.
Is Kara just falling down, getting shot?
Just every time I'd be like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Every time.
All right, so do you want to know the tricky thing that I have prepared for us for this week?
Ooh.
All right, so Chris has
Do
a
it.
tricky thing for us. Chris, what is our
So I
topic?
heard this on the radio on Thursday.
All right.
Or no, Friday, whatever it was, a couple days ago. And it took me forever to find this article. And people are talking about common things that they just can't relate to. So I'll read a couple of examples
All right.
to give you an idea of what this is like, and then I want to know what common things that you can't relate to.
This is fun. I like this.
So this is a BuzzFeed article based on a Reddit article. I have both of them up.
Perfect.
So the first example that they give is common things that you can't relate to. I can't relate to getting upset with people for things they are not in control of.
Totally.
So it's like, the implication being there's like lots of people get upset with people for stuff that they can't control, and it's like it just doesn't make sense.
Oh, I'll give an
right?
example, right? So we live in an area where we have like the equivalent of a drawbridge. It's a lift bridge, right?
Yep.
So some employers it's called you're getting like bridged out. If the bridge makes you late, we are going
yeah.
somewhere. Other employers, even knowing the bridge, it is no brainer. You should have known that the bridge was going to go up. You should have left 15 minutes early. Like they just
Yeah.
get mad at you for circumstances out of your control.
Exactly.
And how far do you have to take it? Do you have to permit an asteroid hitting your vehicle? Like you should have just have a spare car that's parked 15 miles away just in
My
case.
car fell into a sinkhole. No excuse.
There is
Yeah.
no excuse. That's a good one. That's fun. And that I feel like that's actually almost more easily relatable.
I think that's like the
Yeah.
unmet expectations. That's why you get upset with people because they're not meeting the expectation you have of them.
Yeah. So like another one is an example of people's obsession with branded things. Clothes with brands' names on them just seem tacky to me.
so
like, you're
I
wearing a
can
big
talk
Nike
about that.
shirt or
I mean-
whatever,
Well, I don't want
so.
to. I play the advocate to all this stuff, the devil's advocate. So it's like, here's the thing.
Well, so the whole auspice of this, like, most people wear branded things because they like the way that it looks and repping the brand or whatever.
Yeah.
And so this is the minority.
Yeah, the anti-thesis.
The minority
or whatever.
of people like. Are,
I don't. Yeah, somebody doesn't understand why people enjoy branded clothes.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't get it.
To me,
All
it's
I
just
care
consistency.
All I care about are my jeans because not a lot of people make jeans long enough for me. Like American Eagle, their longs are just kind of on the cusp of being too short, so I always have to get their extra longs. Do you know how many people don't make jeans long enough for me? I look like Urkel in everybody else's jeans. That's all I'm saying.
You just gotta paint like your ankles like blue.
Right? Just get tattooed. Just
You only wear the one color.
and that's true. That's
So
true.
I'm in the
So-
brand boat to a certain extent. Like I'm in a brand.
You get what you pay for?
So I'm in the bigger percentile. I'm in the
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. So most of us
yeah.
would find ourselves in the larger thing.
Yeah.
Right. So like another example that I just remember off the top of my head is like, it's like I don't get why my boyfriend gets upset when he doesn't see his mom enough during the year or whatever. Right?
Got it.
So it's like and they go on to explain it's like they had a troubled childhood or whatever, but like they don't have that thing where they miss that like familial bond.
Got it.
You know, so it's like, so is there anything that is like the norm that you guys don't get why everybody does it?
Check chat. See if anybody was chatting.
Oh yes.
Very common things. Well, I still like. I mean, this one I'd say is almost 50-50. I don't know how people are morning people. I can't relate to that. Like people who are
Yeah.
up in their spring chickens. I just don't know how they do it.
Having
know
a
how they
baby
get up in the
has
morning.
turned me into a morning person, but I am not a morning person.
And then what are some other common things people like?
People who enjoy working out.
Well,
like,
I feel that's a minority.
get it. I get. Well, no, there's. I don't know.
If you took
It is a
50% of
minority.
the population, I'd say that less
Yeah,
than, yeah.
totally.
Okay,
true.
maybe it's just because of the area we live in. We live right next to the lake walk, and all the time you see tons of people biking, walking, running. It's ridiculous.
Here's what I hate. A lot of people are still running right now, and in the past week, 3 separate mornings, I was driving, and there were runners that were not wearing any bright clothing at all, and that almost should be against the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're running, and it's like I don't see them until the last second. And it's like, oh, there's a runner there. That's cool. Way
And
to
a
go.
lot of them run on the road. It's like
Yeah,
there's
no,
a
they run on the
sidewalk.
road 'cause
there's a sidewalk right there for you.
That's
Use
because
it.
they grate the roads, and there's not as much ice on the.
Yeah.
Get some yak tracks.
Look at Carol
Like-
over here just spitting fire.
Just saying.
So
Just
another example, this is a common thing that they just don't get. Why you would share your whole intimate life on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Yes, save the drama for your mama.
Well,
Nobody-
no, and save the drama for him. Okay, so I was under the impression even like 2 weeks before Chip was born. It's like I don't need to post a lot of pictures on Facebook. The problem is it's the easiest way to put it out there to not shove it down people's throats.
So
in a way,
I guess the way I took that was like a lot of people share unnecessary information.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Like people overshare on the
Yeah.
internet and they don't get why.
baby
people do it.
pictures. That's what I go to Facebook for. I go to Facebook for baby pictures, cute animal pictures, stuff like that. I don't go on there to find out that you had a fight with your boyfriend last night. You know, like you know.
they need support for their friends.
so you message
Yeah.
your good friends, not everybody in your
People
Yeah, no,
are
yeah,
busy.
Yeah, so yeah. So
That's all I have
like
to say.
I like defending these.
one thing that I don't understand is big expensive weddings.
So, the nature of beasts, weddings are just expensive in general.
Yeah.
We tried to have a modest one, but the $100,000 and what plus weddings and stuff like that, no way. 50, 40, 30. I mean,
Our wedding technically was a budget wedding.
yeah, way budget.
Like if you look in budget wedding articles online and books and stuff, ours was like low end budget.
Can you explain to me, is all of HGTV just fake? Speaking of which, this just reminds me.
I would say probably 90% of it.
we were watching Property Brothers, and people are coming up there, and they're like, "My budget's $150,000
Keep
for a
in mind
remodel."
they're in Canada.
Still, that's still like over $100K.
Canadian dollar is only like 90% power of a US dollar. So it's not
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, it's not like
It has
England.
it-
It's
no.
not it's
Okay.
not that big of a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's some times where you could basically almost just buy stuff with Canadian money at the same dollar rate as the
If I asked Jeremy for $150,000
I would have a
budget to
coronary.
remodel,
I would have
Jeremy
a
would be like, "Nope,
coronary.
we are selling and we are buying a new house."
So where do the people get the money to do this? And why I would just buy a new house at that point. I would just buy a different
well,
house.
you've heard the joke, right? They're like, in HGTV, it's like, "Oh, what do you do?" The wife's like, "I fold napkins for a living," and the husband's like, "I catch butterflies."
And yet they buy a $1.2 million home on the beach. Like, how do
Exactly.
people afford that?
Yep. So anyway, so with those as primers, and I can come back for more references. So just think of something, and you might not have something like this, but I think a lot of people do. Is think of something that's common that you just don't understand why people do it.
Well, yeah, we'll keep going. Is there some comments for you to catch up on what we think?
Just like Chimera said hi.
We've got
Who?
Chimera.
Oh, Chimera.
Yeah.
Hi, Chimera.
Ephraim, I think his name's. Yeah.
Chimera's awesome.
Ephraim?
Yeah, he's been a night owl for a year, and now he's trying to be a morning person.
Oh man.
Tiffany
that's so
says
tough.
she's a morning person and she
How,
can't understand
Tiffany?
night people.
Okay. Tiffany,
That's true. When she was at
Tiffany
our house.
came and visited us.
Yeah.
And by the time we even came downstairs, which was early enough, it was like 8 a.m. She had already left the house, got donuts, and brought them back, and was relaxing.
Got donuts that were like 20 minutes away from our house. So it's not even like it was around the corner. She went all the way over to West Duluth to
That's
Anderson.
like the complete other end. For
Yeah.
people that don't know Duluth, it's just like a long strip.
Yep.
So you guys live on the north end of the strip, and this is
Yeah.
the south.
Yeah,
Even though it's called
we're
West
like-
Duluth, it's the
Yeah.
south end of the strip.
Yeah, we're like at the other end of Duluth.
Yeah.
And
It does take 20 minutes to get from side to side.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
And so this donut shop that she went to as a kid, Anderson Donuts, I think it was, or something like that. She went. She got us all a bunch of donuts, which are absolutely delicious. Thank you so much. And she brought them back, and she was up and just
Well, I had
bright-eyed
another
and
one,
bushy-tailed.
but I get why, but maybe somebody wouldn't know why. Like why people start their day with coffees. That is ridiculously common. Maybe you don't, but to me, my day doesn't start until I have coffee. So I'm in the 99 percentile.
So, part of it to me is the ritualization of it,
Yes,
right?
totally.
Society just does it.
It's 50-50.
What's
right,
the
but-
Folgers? The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Yeah.
Don't you guys have Folgers at work?
Yeah, because it's cheap.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about work. Okay, I want to talk about coffee for a second. We buy the cheapest coffee we can get our hands on because
That's the one thing the government doesn't waste money on is coffee.
no, we have to get it ourselves. But here's the deal, right? You're only as good as your weakest link, right? And so the water is absolutely garbage at my work. The pipes are from the 50s. The buildings, if the water
Jeremy's
sits,
Did you guys
drinking
get Hermantown
asbestos.
water?
it must be.
Yeah,
But-
because the base is in Hermantown.
But here's what's annoying. If you leave the water, when you start the water from being over the weekend, it's rust color when it comes out.
Ew.
It's that nasty. And so when you've got garbage water, you don't buy expensive coffee.
That's
because you're
fair.
only as good as the water you're pouring in the pot.
I'm surprised you guys don't just get a big old jug of water from the store.
Yeah,
Well,
or why don't you have the
we
the
have
Arrowhead water or something?
We have a Brita filter that we also pay for. It's just a filter. It's a pitcher with the filter. So you pour it in the hopper and then it drains it out with gravity.
Okay.
And it's perfect because it holds one pot's worth of water. So you can just fill it and dump it in. But that's
Okay.
as far as we go.
Oh my goodness, I've got a bunch of things to read here. So Brad says honeymoons are way better than a big wedding.
Oh, absolutely. Spending the money on a honeymoon?
Yeah.
Our honeymoon was great. We went on a Caribbean cruise, which started out in Puerto Rico.
We flew into San Juan. Dude, Gabe, round trip tickets in 2015 from Minneapolis, which
Was
is
it
the
$250?
cheaper airport to fly out of. Yeah, it was $212 round trip from Minnie to San Juan.
So I'm.
And it's only a 2-hour drive from Minneapolis to here.
Yep, to where we're
say we
at.
should totally, maybe come and visit.
I also want to fly those guys up at some point, or at least Gabe,
Y'all should come and see snow.
and see
Yeah.
snow. Because they said they've been to the States, but only when it's not snow season.
Well, which
I wanna
states
take 'em
did
ice
you go
fishing.
to?
I think that would blow
Okay.
someone's mind.
You need to give them an ice house with a heater.
Well, of course.
I grew up, we would sit on the ice on 5-gallon buckets
Yeah, that's how you ice
on the
fish.
middle of the lake, and we just sit there with the wind blowing. I would freeze. I hated it. Hated it.
That's how you need to learn.
That's the
Makes
only
you
way you'll
appreciate-
appreciate. An
I've
ice
never
house.
fished in an ice house.
But you would definitely appreciate it compared to the experience you've had.
Kyle
Fishing
said
in
he
an
did
ice
this
house
ice
is.
fishing.
I skipped several days of school to go fishing with Eric
Oh yeah, ice
in high
houses
school,
are awesome.
and he had like one of those like the canvas ones you could just like throw up real quick.
Yeah. Yep.
It was so awesome.
No, those are cool. My buddy Kyle has a bunch of that stuff.
My friend wants to get a Yeti ice house. It's basically like a small trailer house. They just park on there. It's got a bathroom. It's got bunk beds. That's
a little excessive to me.
That's
you still need to have
my-
a little bit of the danger of getting killed.
That's why the sled pop-ups are fun. You pull them out with like a snowmobile or a 4x4
No.
four-wheeler.
the way Ashley wants to go. That's my kind of ice fishing. Just nice and toasty.
Carrot,
Just-
you're better off to fill the basement with water, freeze it, and then stock it with fish, and then just fish from the couch.
It's like glamping, but fishing.
Oh
it
my
would be-
goodness.
glishing.
Glishing.
That sounds so wrong. It's like gleeking.
Yeah.
Tiffany says it's Johnston's Bakery.
Okay. It was one of those, Johnson's, Anderson's. Johnston's.
Johnston's.
With a T, Johnston's.
Okay.
She also
Delicious
says,
donuts.
Jeremy, your coffee is delicious.
Oh, thank
We
you very
make
much.
pour over.
At home.
Oh,
Or AeroPress.
you were those kind of people. Mike says I'm assuming he's talking about the pipes, said that they just fixed them.
That was for a water main break. They didn't replace our building's actual pipes. But yeah, there was a water main break.
Oh, yeah, he says line burst.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad says, geez, by a Brita.
Yeah, I know. It's we have one. We do.
Before Chip. Do you know when I was a kid, we just sat on the ice in the wind?
He's already gonna hear your story. See?
Oh yes, and we walked uphill both ways to get to that lake.
I think Gabe says, you never know, I might just jump in the room like Jeremy on our server last night. Can you imagine they just surprise fly up here and barge in?
That'd be sweet.
Insane.
Chimera's follow us on Twitch now.
I saw Frankie said hello too.
Frankie!
Yeah,
So,
and then Gabe and him were having like an exchange.
Yeah, I
and
saw
it
that.
didn't seem relevant for me to
Just
break
so
into that.
everybody knows, hello, Frankie. Frankie is 30 years old and he's married. So one of the funny things last night was they were all introducing themselves to me when I hopped on chat, and that was how Frankie introduced himself. And they all were giving him like razzing him a bunch or giving him a hard time, saying, "Hey, that's too much. You're getting too personal," like being funny. So then I did the same joke when I hopped on. So I just wanted to keep it going because it's fun and easy.
Nice.
But I got on. I'm like, "Hi everybody. I'm Jeremy. I'm married. I have a kid." It's just super fun. So super cool. So what are some more common things? I don't know. Chris, what's like your what do you do that's common?
Well, no, so like just like something that's like a societal norm type of thing. So like, here's something. This is like a borderline one.
Okay.
It's like so I can't understand why people don't use their turn signals 100% of the time.
That makes
Right?
sense, yeah.
Right.
And so it's one of those things
Oh.
like whenever somebody makes a turn or a merge or does anything with a turn, I have to consciously stop myself. So coming from Wisconsin to Minnesota on
Yep.
the Plotnik, the road splits to North and South 35.
Yep.
You do not need to signal. Because you're just in the lane that turns into the thing,
Right.
right? I signal every time just because it's a force habit. It's like I'm making
Yeah.
more than like a 15-degree turn.
Yep.
My hand automatically goes to the turn signal. So I have to make a conscious effort to not do it. I can't get why people don't use their signal.
Weren't
You
we just
know-
talking about driving tests last week?
Gabe, get out.
What? He doesn't use a signal?
No, he says he's a morning person.
How?
How, Gabe? That's crazy.
How?
Oh, he's in the Eastern time zone, so he's up even earlier. It's great.
Ugh, it's
That is
disgusting.
insane.
But speaking of turn signals,
Go ahead.
on Anderson,
I relent.
Arrowhead, not Anderson, sorry. Anderson's on the mind. Don't know why. Arrowhead, when you're driving down, you pass Kenwood, and it's that strip, and it's 2 lanes going both ways. When people don't use their turn signals to make a left-handed turn, I've almost rammed people because you don't realize they've slowed down.
Yeah,
It's like, use your turn signal, otherwise you're going to get an accident, loser. Like,
exactly.
Jeremy.
Brad says, "Don't ever move to California."
Oh my
Oh,
I've been in
goodness.
California traffic. It is people are freaking lunatics.
Which one of you drove when we were in Anaheim? I did not
Me.
drive.
Jeremy did.
Jeremy
I
did.
did.
I will not. I'm
I would have been
sorry.
more than happy to do it. It's just you got to keep your head on a swivel.
People get frustrated with me when I drive. And I drive to match the people. I
yeah,
blend
you
in.
try and go with the flow.
Yeah.
I
blend
get
in.
anxiety
So
when we're in the
I-
cities driving.
We were on a family vacation out to visit my sister on the East Coast, so in the Maine
Oh my
area. And My mom was holding her coffee.
Then it was in her leg. She was kind of holding it between her legs, wasn't she? Or sitting like in the middle console or something.
Yeah. And so somebody cut me off, and I like had to just
We
jerk
were in a
the wheel
roundabout.
and like ram into this situation and then jerk the wheel out of it.
Your mom was posting on Instagram. She was
Yeah.
like updating her Instagram or Facebook or
And
whatever.
I blew the coffee out of the cup all over her.
in the rental car.
And I mean, it was bad. She was so mad. She's like, you don't need to ever drive like that. And I was like, I'm just driving here. Like, leave me alone. But no, on the way down here, we were just talking, or last week, we were talking about turning into the most recent oncoming lane, turn into the nearest lane when you're taking a left at an intersection.
Yep, that's
Just
the rule.
coming here, I turned into the nearest lane and then got into the right lane. The car behind me turned into the right lane.
Turned the far
But then
lane,
once
yeah.
I got into the right lane, they switched into the left lane because they didn't want to be behind me. And if they would have just turned to the nearest lane to begin with, they wouldn't have been. They would have been fine.
That's the thing that we could spend the whole time talking about driving. Brad says you need to be an offensive driver in Cali.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the I'm 90% like Jeremy when I get into big cities and 10% like Kara. There's a little piece of me that has anxiety because it's like this is 30 lanes wide and I don't know which side
Yeah.
the exit's on.
Oh man,
That's
dude.
the only thing that freaks me out because like I will not feel bad about pulling crappy moves on people.
Is Dave
to get to where I'm going?
Is Dave on tonight?
He commented earlier.
Okay, so Dave and I. Oh, Gabe, you're gonna love this. So I had a '93 RX-7. Kara remembers it, and I bought it from Houston. I
Awesome
bought it
vehicle.
down in Houston, Texas. And Dave and I flew down there, and we bought it. And here, I love being young. Is there stuff I would? There's no way.
When was that?
Yeah, right. There's just, you do stuff when you're a kid that you would just never do now. So
Yeah.
I was 19 years old. I bought this car off eBay. I took like I had like went to the military, I came home, and I had all this just like, here's your sign-in bonus. And the second I had it, I had to spend it. So I bought this
Burn a hole in his
RX-7,
pocket.
right? And I bought it off of eBay from an impound lot down in Houston, Texas. We live in Minnesota. Dave and I flew down there, had the wrecker, the guy who owned the impound lot, drive us to the impound lot. We bought it there. It was a lot of money. It was $7,000 in 2006. I bought it and didn't know anything about RX-7s. Didn't know anything about this was our only way
Did you know
to
anything
get
about
back
rotary
home.
engines at that point?
No, not. I mean, I knew it had a rotary and about them, but I didn't know how sensitive they were. And so we bought it and we pulled into the parking lot. We signed the paperwork. We loved the car. Dave and I were driving home and we turned the headlights on and the headlights were flip up and they're going rear, rear, rear. So you had to figure out why the headlights weren't working and stuff like that. And we pull into the first parking lot.
David
And-
says before you finish your story that was the most intense driving experience of my life.
Oh man. Okay, so that's what I was gonna get at. So we stop, and we go to leave the first place we're at.
Driving a 15-passenger van with an enclosed trailer behind it through Atlanta was a breeze compared to Texas.
Dude, okay, and so this is what was insane, right? And we were young, right? So we pull into the lot. I stick it in reverse, and reverse quit working. It was a 5-speed, and reverse went out.
That
Okay.
could be a problem.
So I'm freaking out. Well, reverse and fifth gear are on the same synchro, which means it's the same piece of metal that meshes the gears when you push them together. So the synchro was broken and we couldn't put it in reverse. So I kid you not, every time we went somewhere, I had to pull into a spot where I could pull out, or David had to push me backwards to get me rolling. We could start the car and everything, but he had to push me backwards to get me going. So then we're driving and I go to put it in fifth. All of a sudden it won't go into fifth anymore. So we had to drive from Houston all the way to Minnesota with no reverse and no fifth gear. We did it
So
in
were you
fourth
going
gear.
55 miles an hour?
Well, it's a rotary, so you can wind it out, but it was super loud.
Were you at
it was
7,000 RPM?
super hot. Yeah, it was probably at 4,500 RPM. Okay, and
My goodness.
but yeah, super loud.
And RX-7s are loud to begin with.
So we get into Dallas, and that's when it was insane. So I had 4 gears in an RX-7 in over 100-degree temperature, and these cars run hot. And we get into Dallas and merge onto like the Dallas freeway, and it was 5 or 6 lanes wide in a car with only 4 gears. And this sets a precedent. When something doesn't work, when something starts to break, you lose faith in it.
Yeah.
So I had lost faith in this car. So I was extremely and utterly nervous because I was like, David, what if we lose 4th and 3rd next? We're going down the freeway in 6 miles of traffic, like with only 1st and 2nd gear, you know? But we drove it all the way.
He says no AC too.
No AC. It was so hot. Oh, man. It was ridiculous. It was insane. But we made it. We drove to Oklahoma, and then my parents drove down, and then with a trailer. And they met us, and then we towed it the rest of the way home. But with a car dolly. Well, the parents don't leave
the same
you
when you got the
hanging.
snowstorm on the way back and everything too, right?
That was Mike Fish.
I was gonna say. I was gonna ask. Wyoming, Minnesota. Was that?
That was
Mike's
on a trip
trip.
down to St. Louis to buy a Montego Blue 94 FD that Mike bought. And so, man, buying cars all over the place. Gabe, I could talk to you for hours just about cars.
Well,
Because
so
I know
like
Gabe
another
works
Mike
with
story
cars.
is when he bought his lifted truck out in Vermont or New Hampshire or whatever.
Yep.
And he and I flew out there and drove it
You
straight
did
back.
that with them, didn't you?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
He's like, anybody want to go with me? I was like, I've got 2 days off. Like literally just like spur of the moment, he bought like the 2 like cheapest possible tickets. Like we just connected to Chicago, terrible airport, and got out to the East Coast and like did all the stuff. And
Chicago.
O'Hare?
Yeah, I've gone.
$1,000,000,000%.
I've gone through Detroit and I've gone up through Toronto.
No, you've been to
and
O'Hare.
100%
All Duluth flights go out of
Yeah.
O'Hare. When we went to Maine, I guarantee you we went through O'Hare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what
Oh,
a
I
trash
wonder if
airport.
I must have gone there then when I went down to New Orleans to meet you.
Probably, absolutely, yeah.
Mike says the Roach Motel in Wyoming.
That was absolute ridiculous. That hotel motel thing had a piece of pipe sticking out of the wall 3 inches and then a garden hose attached to it was the shower head. And I am not lying. Like they bought one hose for the entire building and cut it into chunks and hose clamped it 4
so you
inches.
just had, like-
Yeah, you just had a little 4-inch garden. Like that was the nozzle. It was absolutely. I'm serious. There was 2 beds, and we got a rollaway. I just lay down and like cover up under the blankets, and David and Mike pushed my rollaway up against the door because the hotel door didn't even lock. So I'm like, they're pushing me up against it. I'm like,
All right,
thanks, guys.
Second worst hotel though. On
Which
the way
one?
back from Anaheim in Colorado.
Oh my goodness, guys! On our trip, Chris,
Yeah.
they left whoever left the bathtub full of water.
Yeah, the bathtub was full
Do
of
you
water.
remember?
Yeah, no, I do remember that. I don't know if that's worse than our way out through Denver when we got kicked out of the hotel at 2 in the
Okay,
morning.
but at
My
least there
review-
wasn't like blood stains all over the freaking room.
That was a sketchy hotel.
That
did
was
suck.
sketchy. It was like, I swear there was blood splatter all over that thing. There was standing water in the bathtub. I mean, I swear there was mold growing along the sink. It was sketchy.
That video for that, it was a Radisson in
Yep.
Aurora,
Yep.
Colorado.
Yep.
That video, I was so mad, guys. At 2:30 in the morning, I'm leaving a Google review of like the carbon monoxide alarms going off with the whole entire hotel outside. That review's helped like 4,000 people not go there.
When we got brought into that conference room, I thought for sure they were gonna like lock us in and chip us away somewhere.
I agree. I agree. That
That's why we stayed by the back doors. Like, if we need to like run, we're gonna be the first people back out of here.
Well,
So
we
it
were all
wouldn't-
mad because all of our camera equipment was in the room
Oh, yeah,
and
we
they
got-
wouldn't let us go and get anything.
$10,000 worth of stuff sitting unattended.
Oh my gosh. David, send this to Chris. Or was that actually the picture? No way. David might have had. David, you guys, this is the hotel. It's there. David's got a picture of that was the shower head.
Oh my gosh.
You want me just to send it to you on Messenger, Chris?
Yeah, I'll get it downloaded and toss her up.
That's funny.
You gotta just put it up for everybody. And he's got a picture of the rollaway up against the door. And you can see it. I gotta send these to you. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. This is the most riveting thing in the whole world. Me just saving pictures from my camera roll to send to Chris on Messenger. I can basically be sending them to myself, but
I mean, everybody's got to see these. That was janky. That was sketchy. That's all get out.
here we go, Chris. They're coming. Oh yeah, and they're sending quick. That is just unbelievable.
I can't believe how many bad hotel experiences we've had.
I mean, and then we got to California, and Eden Rock was amazing.
Yeah.
Eden Rock was
Oh,
great.
that was incredible. Our hotel
Just
in California.
walking distance to Disney without paying the Disney hotel prices.
Do you know how you're going to be able to put that up? That is so funny to me. Look at that thing.
I'm trying to get this thing to let me. There we go. It's just being real slow. Sorry for dropping frames.
It's worth it for you guys to see this. It's unreal. I can't make this. I can't make it up. It's so funny. It's not a literal garden hose. It's what it felt like. It's so funny what memory does to you. But
Yeah, I was picturing this green garden hose.
I was too, in my brain, for what it's worth.
I was thinking of a red one.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have a red garden hose growing up?
I want to know, David. Type
we had
into-
you know those like they're like just like on a farm or something like that, where it's just like a water supply coming out of the well. Then it's there's just like a handle that raises up and it shoots out water.
Yeah.
We had one of those things with a little short piece of hose on it at my grandparents' house, and it was red.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. We've always had green garden hoses growing up. So.
Yeah, at my
I just want to
parents'
know
house,
how
it was
David
always-
recovered those pictures from the depth of wherever
David
they were so
has
quickly.
retained a lot of things
He
that
has.
you don't know about.
I know. What do you mean? Videos
I don't know.
of our old video production?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
image.
Are you bringing it in?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is much better than just showing you on my phone. Making the actual stream. Mom, I don't know if you're watching. If you haven't watched, even this is something new for you to see. It's pretty crazy.
Let's see here, stream tools.
What's the best hotel you've stayed in?
One that had a big impact on me. It doesn't mean it was the best. It was an Air Force Inn in Sevilla, Spain.
So here we have the bed pushed against the door.
Oh, yeah. Is that like for everyone to see?
Yeah.
That is epic.
All right, and then we're going to pull up the shower right there. Bang, boom. And then this is the shower.
That is... So imagine walking into a bathroom in a hotel that we paid money to stay there, and that's what they give you. Look at that
Let's
thing.
be real. It's just a money laundering
Oh,
cover
for
up.
sure.
Like,
Oh, for sure.
It's
What's the
Yeah,
bare
we've got a
minimum to meet the
hotel,
standard in
yeah.
order to get it to work? That is insane. Somebody was going to be like, I know someone's going to be like, hey, that's my shower. What kind of shower do you have?
Okay, so I want to go back a little bit. So David said,
Yeah, how did he pull it up that so quick?
or Mike said, wasn't there a prize behind the seat of yours?
There
All right,
was.
7.
And then
Was it in the door?
Wow,
under,
I love
under the
this.
rear storage bin, he says.
Oh.
Sort of.
And it
Sort
says
of.
SpaghettiOs on the heater. I don't know if that's related or not. That was just
To the
sort of like
hotel,
something that came
maybe?
in. Then David said pics inbound. Yes, actual pics.
Funny.
Okay, so then Brad says the hotels are nice. The hotels are nice because they're trying to compete. Competition does amazing things.
Yeah, right. Eden Rock was amazing. I would absolutely stay there again. They were nice. They were courteous. And then it was like, if you look at their prices normally, it was, I booked through them. But at the time, it was like everybody other hotel was like $400 a night, and this was like $120 or $130 a night. It just hadn't
it's
been
like
booked.
they had just remodeled everything.
Yeah, the rooms that we got.
Only thing I would
Absolutely.
say at night walking, and I'm sure this is just because of where it was, every night walking home or walking back to the hotel, there are always cockroaches walking across the
Kara?
sidewalk.
There's always going to be cockroaches anywhere warm.
Yeah, that's just the rule.
Texas, Louisiana, Florida, I've seen cockroaches in every one of those states.
I-
And the warmer it is, the bigger they are.
I could not deal with it. I literally ran down the sidewalk, and Jamie was like, "Kara, slow down." I was like, this girl is not slowing down. I will see you at the hotel. Like, no.
So for the backstory of the RX-7, it was at a wrecker, right? An impound lot. So here's what happened. I found a speeding ticket in the car. And so the wrecker guy had told me that the driver had been pulled over going 160
Dang.
He was an airline pilot, wasn't
in
he?
a 75 or in a 70 down there. And so by the time whatever he got out of jail, the impound lot fee was more than what the car worth. So he just let it stay there. But that's not the truth. The truth is he got pulled over, and he was an airline pilot because his name was on the ticket, and I looked him up. He's an airline pilot, or still is probably, or was back then. But the reason why he didn't go get the car was because about a year later, I got this, the car was like loud inside. There was a lot of road noise. So you can take, it's like duct ducting foil, but with a tar layer on it, or like a rubber layer on it, and you can stick it on the bare panels in your car, like pull the panels off the door and just line your whole car with the interior of this thing, and it makes your car quiet like a Mercedes or a BMW. So I pulled the seats out, pulled the plastic off, and pulled the carpet out. When I pulled the carpet out, there was a Ziploc sandwich bag full of marijuana under the carpet.
And keep in mind, this is 2006. So, that's illegal
still
at
had
that point.
archaic marijuana laws.
Yes. So I actually called the police and had them come get it. No questions. They were totally, yep, we'll take it.
Nice. They're
It
like,
doesn't hurt that you
score.
knew somebody. If they didn't know you, they'd probably be like, mm-hmm. Well, I suppose if it was actually yours, you never would have turned it in.
Yeah. Why would I?
That's true.
So Brad says, I bring my sleeping bag when I drive across country. That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. I didn't trust those sheets in that hotel on the way back from California. Mm-mm.
David says, I well documented all of our trips and most of our experiences back in the day.
He did. David was a documenter. Surprisingly good camera for whatever you were using at the time. I mean, it was cell phones most likely, but still.
I mean, that's a 14-year-old picture.
Yeah. That looked good. Looked real good.
The white balance is a little whatever.
I know, right? Totally bad.
If I'm going to be critiquing.
It was a little yellow.
David said when the heat turned on, it smelled like someone was cooking on it.
You got it, yeah.
Brad says there are lots of cockroaches because of all the drinks and candy being spilled.
I suppose, yeah.
Grody.
All that sugar.
And then,
Gabe, are you referring to cockroaches?
yes.
Just kidding. I'm not coming to Puerto Rico. You guys have to come to us.
The cockroaches fly in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's
they
fine.
fly most places.
Kara, we were in San Juan. You can't go to San Juan for a cruise and not go to San Juan to see Gabe.
Yeah, well, we didn't see any cockroaches while we were there.
That doesn't mean they're rampant. It just means
They
that there's
fly.
a chance. You've got to be prepared.
They
We
fly.
were all over the Caribbean. You don't think there was cockroaches in St.
I
Kitts
guarantee you
or
there's
St.
cockroaches
Lucia?
on the cruise ship.
Yeah,
100%.
100% on the cruise ship.
There's no way that they weren't on.
I hate winter, but Minnesota, totally worth it.
And so my
I'm sheltered when it comes to bugs, apparently.
my dad hates snakes and cockroaches, and he's like, here's why I love Minnesota. You're never gonna get a hurricane. You're never gonna get an earthquake. Really, rarely you'll get a tornado. A tornado. No poisonous snakes. No deadly gross bugs.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, though. We have a buttload of wood ticks, and wood ticks stink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I
there's-
do
there's
My
a
dad's
very-
actually had Lyme disease.
I was gonna say, and then there's a
Oliver
new
got
one.
Lyme disease.
There's a new one too, Chris, where if the tick bites you, and I'm not kidding,
Gabe, stop posting.
What?
there's a tick that'll bite you, and it makes you allergic to red meat.
Yeah.
And that would be the end of my life.
I love bacon. I love steak.
I have a 0%
Kara,
chance of
bacon's
survival.
the other white meat.
It's still
Is
it's
pork
still
just-
red meat.
I was
Pork
gonna
is still
say,
technically
Yeah.
red meat.
Yeah.
Nah, it's gray meat.
great.
What pork are you eating?
I don't cook gray pork. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness.
I love that. What is Gabe posting? It's just stop.
I think
he said the cockroaches fly at you sometimes.
Are you trying to prevent us from coming down to visit you? Because I mean, if that's what you're going for, you're succeeding.
That's
You
not
just need to
that
get one of
bad.
those like beekeeper hats.
I do. I just need like a
mosquito
bubble.
net?
I need one of the bubbles that you just kind of walk in and rolls with you. Just
Way
an
to
air
get everyone's
conditioner.
attention. Gabe's gonna like drive up to meet us, and he's gonna see Kara roll out in her bubble, and he's,
just
gonna
gonna turn around.
keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep going. No, I do not know
Everybody
them.
would look at me and be like, "You're not from around here, are you?"
Not from around here. What kind of bubble do you live in?
I live in Minnesota. Okay.
It is fun up here. There's unique experiences that are only to this area. That's for sure.
Mike posted a bug emoji.
You.
And then
Ew.
Ashley says, I'll always remember my ride in the RX-7 when he went on the freeway and accelerated and I looked over. Oh, that's 100 miles an hour.
Yep, just like that. Boom.
Yeah, Jeremy would take me through the tunnels up on 35 there, and he'd slow way down right before the tunnels, and then just punch it, and it got loud.
It was so much fun. That was a really fun car. But Gabe works in the automotive industry, I believe so, and that's what's fun about Dave too.
Wait, what?
Gabe says, no,
He's
no,
like
no,
an
no,
automotive
no. I'm
service
just
person.
warning you in case it happens.
Well, I'm gonna bring a baseball bat with me, and one of those suckers comes flying in my face. It's gonna get a
That's like podcast 8 where she throws the thing at the moth.
Yeah.
On the episode.
Or
Or
toothbrush.
Yeah, toothbrush.
I grew up playing baseball with my brothers. If I can hit a baseball, Lord knows if a cockroach comes flying at my face, that sucker's gonna go flying.
Yeah,
Home
here's
run
the
with
thing.
a cockroach.
Here's the
Juice will go-
thing. We went to Bat Bridge in Austin. Not even a bother. Bats don't bother her, and they flutter in your
don't.
face.
They're
but you hate moths.
mammals. They're mammals.
Oh, they flutter.
They're little cute
They
fuzzies.
Flutter.
A moth is a bug, and it flies at your face. It's like, and I can't handle it.
Repeatedly, legitimately, Chris. Like legitimately.
I'm equally scared of bats and moths.
See, the bats, they didn't fly at me. They're not fluttering in my face. They did their thing. They stink, but their faces are cute. Have you seen the
Bat
bat?
faces are not cute.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
got
they
dive bombed
are.
by a bat in my parents' building. That was freaky.
Or in the Chief.
In the Chief, yep.
Maybe he was freaked out by your face.
Whoa! There's a face of. I'm like Squidward, the chiseled Squidward. That's the only thing I can think of a definition of beauty for everyone who's seen it.
Oh, man.
Asher says, I'm so glad there's not bats in Animal Crossing.
Oh, right.
I don't know. I just see those cute little videos like of bats rescued and they're wrapped up in the little blankets and they're eating their
Here's
little
the thing,
fruits.
they only share
they're
cute
so
pictures of
cute.
them. If it had like mange and was like getting ready to murder somebody, they
Yeah,
would
we,
share that picture.
Kara, we could blame bats for Walmart.
Go
I mean,
on.
Okay,
right?
okay.
Well, no, that's what they're saying.
Oh, I thought you were
Somebody
talking
ate-
about the
Somebody
Walmart
ate a bat.
Supercenter.
No,
I'm
somebody
sorry,
ate a bat.
But
and then,
why
or
would
whatever.
you eat a bat?
People eat everything because they're hungry.
Yeah, it's a protein. People eat cockroaches.
Yeah, I had to eat black ants,
And what do they taste like? Chicken?
lemon heads.
Okay,
That'd be
so
alright.
speaking of ants, so I'm watching Chopped Sweets right now on Discovery Plus.
Okay.
And in Chopped Sweets, they give you the most random things to cook with. And in one of the episodes, they were given ants that they had to incorporate in their dessert.
Totally fine. Not a big deal.
So this one girl,
Especially cooked in, you'd never know.
Yeah,
Well,
you
okay.
bake them up.
Get this,
Get them all
though.
crispy, drying them up.
it was a donut that they had to make. This girl made donut holes, but then she made a sauce with the ants. Just left the ants whole, but she like candied them and then poured them over the top of the donut. So like the judges, she covered it with this cotton candy. They pulled out the cotton candy, and there's this pile of ants.
Huh.
And
The
they were
judges
like-
cannot be picky if they give you the ingredient to cook with.
Yeah.
Everybody else incorporated it into the mix, so you didn't actually see the ants.
I feel like it wouldn't be that big. Like
They're
Jeremy said,
not
it's like
that
if they're
big.
cooked and something that, like it feel like.
But it was like a
it'd be
mound of them. There's
weird
probably, like,
sprinkle, you know.
30 or 40 ants in this
I-
pile.
I
of
can
And especially if
guarantee
you're saying they're
you-
candy, there's probably no flavor left to them.
The crunch
Blech.
is like a sprinkle.
It's the idea. It is the idea.
The crunch
that
is like
you're
the
eating.
sprinkle.
Brad says, "Ants are nothing. Just make sure you chew them."
That's it. Ants are nothing.
Nope,
Can you
I'm
imagine
sorry.
like a big like a bullet ant or something?
Oh man.
Ew.
That
No,
would be-
those would know. Yeah, like
Whoa.
like the ants that attack Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal
Yeah.
Skull. Those giant ants.
Yeah,
Ew.
no thanks.
Giant versions of anything are creepy.
Yes. So this is a tangent, but
That's what we're known for.
I was talking to somebody about like the types of documentaries that I like to watch. And I normally watch stuff like related to like outer space or cosmology or like the origins of the universe or whatever. And it's not that I don't like animal documentaries, but invariably they will show like a macro shot of an ant, so the thing looks 50 feet tall, and like the hair and like the sheen of it.
Yeah.
I hate.
Honey,
the
I
way-
Shrunk the Kids.
I hate the way ants look.
That was a creepy movie for that reason at too young of an age if you watched
Really?
that early.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I watched that as a kid. I loved the ants. I loved them. Like, he was such a nice little ant.
The Ant-Man was borderline for me because like they weren't as disgusting looking,
Right.
But they were still. It's like, man, like there's just something about like a huge rendered, detailed image of an ant. And there's other bugs too that I'm not particularly fond of. But I'd rather look at like a pile of 1 billion maggots than one blown up ant.
Oof, maggots pretty nasty.
But that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's
Yeah.
like there's just something about like the whole image of that ant that I'm not fond of.
Of
But
all the bugs, ants are like the only one that I can actually legitimately tolerate.
I don't know. Praying mantises are pretty cool. I
Nope.
like
Until they-
praying
Nope.
mantises.
That,
nope.
Aussie guy did a funny thing where he's got a video of a cat fighting a praying mantis, and it's hilarious. 'Cause it like
I
gets
just
stuck on the
don't
cat's
do
paw. and-
bugs.
yeah, it's so fun.
I don't do bugs, and ants are like the only thing that I'm okay with. Except for once they get too big or they get wings, then it's like, you stay over there, I'll stay over here. It's
You
just
like butterflies?
They're okay. They have to land on me on my terms. So I'm not going to go into a
Man.
butterfly house.
Butterfly, you are clear for landing on approach vector 27
Exactly. And you must land on this finger and nowhere else.
See, no. So in high school, we had to go get milkweed, Chris. Remember that?
Yeah.
And we had to we got a larva for a monarch butterfly, and then you have to even teach it how to eat. So you take a little tiny needle and you put it through its proboscis, like it's curled up. So it's like putting it in the center of a cinnamon roll, and then you unroll it into a sponge filled with juicy juice, and then you teach it how to eat. And then it would eat, and then you let it go, and it would fly to Mexico.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeremy
Yeah, it was a school
raising
project.
his
Non-stop
butterfly.
flight.
Yeah, it was cool. Butterflies are awesome.
Brad says this is the Star Wars and Tangent podcast.
90% tangent, 10% Star Wars.
Yep, just like everything. Your mom says, what about ladybugs?
Oh, I hate
I
ladybugs.
can't-
The ladybugs
Okay.
stink.
No, here's
Those
no,
are the Japanese
everywhere.
those are Japanese beetles. Those are not ladybugs.
It's what do you, a misnomer or whatever,
Okay.
a nomenclature
Okay.
thingy.
Misnomer.
Those
They're ladybugs.
those Japanese beetles, they were brought here to help with, was it the armyworm or was it the flies that were released to kill the armyworm?
I can't remember. It was something like that. It was kind of like you bring out the cat to get the rat, you bring out the dog to get the cat, you bring out the...
And eventually you just end up with this huge... those ladybugs are so disgusting because I remember once they were released at my grandparents' farmhouse, there would be thousands of them in the attic. And we'd have to go up there and they'd be dead. They'd just
And
be
you gotta
dead
vacuum them
piles
up,
of
yeah.
them. You have to... Ugh. And then,
My grandparents' house had the same problem. It's
This
just
is
thick with
gross.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, and like... Ugh. And yeah, if you crunched them, they stink.
Ugh. Yep.
Ugh. And so you're like, nope. Nope. Can't do it. Can't do it. Oh, bees. That's the other one I don't mind. Actual true bumblebees. I don't mind them.
I've been stung a few times.
I hate bees.
So I try to... So here's the thing. I'll take a bee a million times over any hornet or wasp.
Yeah.
They're just hornets and wasps are just here to just
They don't do anything except for make you mad.
be
Yeah.
jerks. That's all they're here for.
They're-
100%.
Bees, I like the bumblebees, the fat ones. They're so cute though. They're
Bees
like
are
they're fat
fine.
flying
Minecraft
pandas.
bees.
And they die as soon as they hit you. So
Yeah.
it's like...
Well, okay, so Annie, bees. Annie, Janae, and I went up to Grand Marais, and Janae and I were looking at rocks on the beach, and I noticed there's this little bee, this fat little bumblebee, struggling in water. It had gotten hit by a wave, and so it was struggling. So I took I
Don't
scooped
tell the
him up.
dodo.
I scooped him up,
They'll
and
do a
I
cover
put him.
piece on Kara.
I put him on this nice toasty sun-baked rock, and I just sat there with him until he dried out. And once he dried out, I picked him up and I put him on a flower and just kind of let him recuperate. And
And then he stung you and you died.
Yeah, right.
he recovered and he was good. I watched him fly away.
Into a windshield.
So Mike says, I love how interactive with your viewers you guys are. I'm sure you aren't even close to following what context you had planned on talking about tonight.
No. We do have a rough draft.
Poor Chris has the question, and it's like, I did think of mine. I did think of like what, I don't know how common it is, but to go back to that,
Yeah.
I don't understand how people wouldn't want to travel. Like,
Yeah, no,
have
that-
the desire to travel at all. Like, some people are just so content with staying in their little town and never traveling anywhere. And I'm like, how?
Yeah, I wonder what proportion that is, because it does seem like there are a lot of people that are like, yeah, there's no... Like,
Yeah.
I want to go everywhere.
I do too.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody had mentioned something. Actually, let me go back and chat real quick.
I love traveling. And, I mean, I want to see the world. You know?
Kara,
what?
That world has cockroaches. And you were just talking about how you didn't want to go places where there's cockroaches.
I mean, I want to see the world. I'll just keep my bat with me.
So, about 5 years ago, Tiffany had commented, she drove in Cali and it was nuts. Pennsylvania was the most aggressive driving she's seen in the 40 states she's been to. So,
Really?
40 states, real impressive. That's
Tiffany
awesome.
is my travel friend. She's got wanderlust, man.
So, and like, I wish I could travel a lot more than I have. I've been to a few states. I've probably been to about 20 states,
Yeah.
which is pretty solid. But like, there are people, I guarantee you there's people that have been never outside of Cloquet.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
No,
And it's like-
totally.
How?
Yeah.
I know.
Not that,
It-
not to smack talk my hometown, but Cloquet kind of sucks. Compared to most other places on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can talk about it if you're from here.
Yeah, you can smack talk your own hometown.
Ashley says ladybugs taste horrible.
You. What?
They do. They smell bad too, though. Like if you crunch them,
Yeah.
they stink.
I had a friend one time. He dared another friend of ours to eat a June bug, and they said that the darer has to also do the dare, and so they cut one in half.
Ew, that's worse.
And then they
Guys, like gooey insides are now
Yeah.
easily
I think
accessible.
they coated it in peanut butter and
Well, that doesn't
marshmallow,
count.
and they both ate half a June bug.
Yeah, once you add any type of thing to take away from the authentic experience of it, it
Yeah.
doesn't count. I agree with Jeremy.
Yeah. But still, they ate a June bug.
Brad says any bug that's been in a Disney cartoon Kara likes.
Right, that's it. Any animal that's been portrayed nice, Kara likes.
Gabe says I live on an island surrounded by water, so I want to travel. But the only thing I have to say about that is, by definition, islands are surrounded by water.
Well, no, and so it's funny. So Gabe, when I went to Hawaii, I've been to Hawaii twice. Once for work, once for just to go there.
Because he didn't get picked for the TDY, so he took me instead.
So I took Kara instead. And you immediately think, oh, it'd be so nice to just, Hawaii is amazing because it's 60, 70 all day, every day, all year round. It's like the perfect place.
70, 80, you mean?
Except when you think about it'd be fun to live there, and then immediately sinks in, it's like you probably would get island fever. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys do to combat that? Do you go somewhere? Like where do you go to travel, or where have you been?
That's an
Where do you
interesting
want to
question.
go? You know?
I was reading something. Somebody was talking about. It was on Reddit. Someone's
Yeah.
like people that live in tourist destinations. Blah blah blah. What's life like? And there's somebody who's talking about how they'd grown up on the Big Island, right?
Yep.
And they're like one of the biggest things that seems to confuse people is if something's a 20-minute drive away, it's an all-day trip.
Yeah.
And it's we drive more than that just to get down here for a couple hours to the podcast.
Right.
So it's everything, there's a scale of operation for things. And then the other thing is everything's outrageously expensive. Milk's $10 a gallon, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
See, it'd be fun to have a house in Hawaii that you can go visit. But then in order to do that, you have to be a millionaire. So we better win that Powerball.
Yeah. We'll almost buy Hawaii for that.
Right?
Brad, that's where the TikTok house will be. The Rise house or whatever. It'll be in Hawaii.
Mike says Kuwait takes the cake for worst drivers.
Oof. I mean, from what oh man, yeah, I'll agree with him there. That's crazy. You can't put it into perspective.
Yeah, I'll never drive in
everybody.
Europe. I mean,
I have. Woo!
Well, we heard the story.
London is freaky. I would never in a million. I would rather walk from one end of London to the other.
I mean,
that's why they have so much public transit.
for some reason,
the tunnel is
Chicago.
great.
I mean, Chicago is pretty bad, right? But it's not nearly as bad. For some reason, Cleveland, Ohio. Tiffany said Pennsylvania was bad. For
San
some reason,
Francisco's bad.
Ohio was sticking out to me, or Cleveland specifically seemed like a really horrible area driving. And Pittsburgh, man, Pittsburgh, is that in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
I flew in. I had work to do in New Jersey. And so the only airport I could fly
Jersey
into,
allegedly has some horrible driving.
Jersey is only annoying because it's confusing with the turnpikes.
Yeah,
so
because
it's
it's basically
groups
you
of
have to go.
roads,
Yeah.
And so every day to work, I could only go the same way. You take a right to go there, and then you stop where you're at, and then to go back to the hotel, I'd have to go right, and you go around and then back.
Yeah.
Because both the hotel and where I worked was on a turnpike.
That'd be
But-
so annoying. The hotel's right there.
But you have to go
But you have to go
all the way around.
Well, you can't pump your own gas in Jersey.
You can't. And I also got credit card theft from a Wawa gas station out there. Yeah, that's what they're called, right? Wawas, with the bird that's flying.
I would.
It's
guess
a huge
So.
gas station. It's their Quick Trip.
But they don't got brownie cookies.
Brad says Pennsylvania's legit. If you're slow, get to the right, or they're flashing their lights at you.
That's what I love. That's the one thing I loved about England, and I was so confused at first, is if someone's coming up behind you, they'll flash their lights at you to get out of their way. But if you're going to overtake, if you're taking a right or a left, and someone's coming at you, if they flash their lights, they're acknowledging you that you can pull out in front of them. So if
they're giving you you're clearing. Let's go.
Yeah, and let's go. And that was huge. It took me forever to figure out that that's what that meant. I'm like, why does everybody flash their lights?
They were like,
Yeah,
"What's up from
here it
around
means
here?"
turn your high beams off.
And then here's the other thing: the dangerous thing about being left out. That means how many people were waiting for me to flash their lights so they could pull out, and I just completely
and they're
just
who's this dick?
who is this jerk who's not letting us go? So
A couple of things to catch up on here. Oh, so my rankings for best and worst metropolitan areas I've driven. So I've been driven in places in California, but I haven't driven in California, so I can't rank any places out there.
yep,
But Chicago, #1 worst place I've ever freaking driven.
Yeah.
Part of it is the fact that every 10 feet there's a toll booth.
Yeah.
Which is, like, it cost me like $9 to drive through Chicago in 2005. It's like I had a roll of quarters to pay for tolls for the whole way, and I had to stop outside of Chicago to get more quarters.
That's crazy.
Now you can just tell Siri to make you avoid all tolls.
Minneapolis and St. Paul are laid out so terribly, and
Yeah.
there's like everything's built on top of itself.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they have like 5 exits inside the exit. So it's like
It's the can of worms in Duluth, too.
unless you know precisely where you're going, it's super easy to waste 20 minutes having to loop back around. So it's just incredibly frustrating.
Yep.
The best big metropolitan area I've ever driven in is Oklahoma City because everything is spread out.
I love Oklahoma.
There's as many people basically. It's about half the size population wise as Minneapolis.
Yep.
It's about 1.5 million instead of 3 million, but it's literally 100 times the square area.
Our friend Mike would work in a building downtown Oklahoma City. You could just drive there, and it wasn't even stressful to drive to his work.
Oh yeah,
It was awesome. It was so cool. You got that downtown metropolitan feeling of being in a big city with none of the traffic.
And like their big sports stadium was like 2 blocks away from there too.
Yeah.
It's like you think
Nothing.
you're like in Duluth, like with like the deck and downtown and everything. It's such a cluster. It's like why build anything down there?
Look at
Yeah.
trying to do the drive-through for Bentleyville.
Oh god.
So there's a ton of chat.
Yeah, I
ton.
got a lot of stuff. David's been just about to every state east of I-35, but only 2 states of west.
Yep, that's kind of like me, I suppose. Well, it's weird. Mine's
Uh,
weird. Nah, I don't know. I've been to Arizona, but Nevada, California.
Juliet says she detested driving in downtown Atlanta. I hear Atlanta is nuts.
Savannah wasn't too bad.
Yeah, but that's not Atlanta.
No, I know.
Yeah, Mike said yes, it's a Wawa.
Yeah, it's a Wawa. Yep.
Gabe says he wants to go to Colorado. Never been there. Wanted to see the Rockies are amazing.
They're beautiful.
Yes.
I wish that we'd actually been able to get some sleep, so
Oh
we
my
could be able to
goodness.
appreciate them. But we were just like,
Yeah.
let's get, because like our plan was, so this is the hotel that I thought we were gonna lock us in and kill us. We were gonna sleep until what, like 6 or 7 maybe,
Yep.
and we ended up leaving at like 4 a.m. with like an hour and a half of sleep.
Yep. Because we got woken up at 1.
Yeah, so.
That was horrible.
But so we drove through most of the Rockies in the dark, and then coming back through, they were in the dark too. But like just even seeing the silhouettes of them and everything, and like we stopped to do a quick bathroom break.
Yep.
And Jeremy's like, "This is the freshest air I've ever had."
It was unbelievable. Up in the
So,
mountains at night.
yeah.
It was
Oh.
4 a.m. No one's even driving yet. Not even like any trucker. Everything was pulled over and stopped. It was really still. There's like streams running in random places. You wonder how water even gets there because you're so high.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember like barely waking up when you guys were during your bathroom break, and I was like, one of them's gonna get eaten by a cougar.
Did you imagine peeing on a cougar in the middle of the night?
That would be unfortunate. But yeah, so Denver West, Colorado's amazing. East of Denver, you might as well just go to a field.
Kansas, yeah.
It's basically Iowa.
Yeah.
It
ugh.
is so bad. Dude,
so
dude,
from
the
Denver
road
to-
construction in Iowa on the way home from that trip,
I
that was one of the most frustrating experiences in general.
yeah.
Wait, didn't I almost get nailed by a piece of something coming off of
Yeah,
the
like
side?
a giant
Yes.
piece of
Yeah.
something. Like right when our GoPro died, so we didn't have any evidence of it. It's like you can see like the truck, and then it cuts, and then it's something else.
I should put together some of the footage from Colorado that we did get on the GoPro for Gabe and send it to him if he wants to go to
I've got the hyperlapses already in a timeline. I can just export them.
export them and send it to him. It's
So
beautiful and driving through Utah.
from Denver to LA is
Beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah.
Utah is gorgeous.
Every corner we took was like
Yeah.
blew our minds even more. Jeremy
Yeah.
was sleeping.
It was like, oh, look at that.
I
oh,
saw
look at
some of
that.
Utah.
Oh, look at that. And then wait,
we even
you,
got to drive down the road where it was 107 miles between gas stations.
you slept through Utah both ways.
I was tired. The way you guys made me drive, I had to drive before then and then after then. So it was like Utah was my snooze zone.
Was it Utah or Nevada that had that bathroom?
Nevada
The-
for
oh,
sure.
the
with
circle
water
urinal?
feature.
Yeah, the water feature urinal.
The pee at you urinal.
Yeah, it's like you just like can't help but just stare at each
There was
other.
a bathroom on Reddit that had toilets that were facing each other with no doors that were kind of like that.
Oh my goodness.
At least you can like hold a newspaper
Yeah,
up or
right.
something.
Yeah, block it.
Praise God that I'm a woman and I get stalls. Like, that's all I have to say.
Julia says, even if I'm riding with somebody, nope. Still scary.
Yep.
Brad says, Pennsylvania and the tri-state area, people communicate with their lights. The 18-wheelers too. I love the rest stops in Oklahoma, the places to stop and eat, and the places to stop and eat.
Oh, Oklahoma had such good food. It did. It really did. So does everywhere I
Atlanta
go.
is just like Dallas.
The food in Louisiana was fantastic.
We need an In-N-Out burger up here.
I would love that. I would love that.
We're
for
getting
sure.
a Popeyes.
Really?
Dude, that guy was so nice. So, Brad, when we were in California, we stopped at an In-N-Out burger, and there was this guy sitting across just eating a burger
I
by
totally
himself.
forgot about this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I just knock it?
The Lego
That-
thing.
That's fine.
And so this guy came over, and he just is
I
like,
was wearing a Star Wars t-shirt.
and he's like, said something like, "Oh, are you guys going to that new Star Wars theme park?" And that we're like not from around there.
Yeah.
And and he
You
just
heard
said,
us
like,
talking like this, eh?
Yeah, right. But he's
Just
just
stressing our
super,
O's.
we were 3 hours away from Anaheim at this point
I think
from the
so.
theme park.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was wearing my Millennium Falcon pizza delivery service
That
t-shirt.
ridiculous shirt. So Kara has a shirt with Millennium Falcon made out of pizza on it, and it says like Millennium Falcon's pizza delivery. More people commented on that shirt than any other shirt I've ever seen anybody wear.
Yeah.
People were like, A, thought it was a real place to eat. Some people did.
Yeah.
B, some people wanted to know where she got the shirt. It's just 20 conversations about that shirt.
And then that was the one that the guy saw. I was like, "Oh, you guys are going to Galaxy's Edge, aren't you?"
Yeah.
Does anybody have an idea of
He was talking about going because his birthday was like
Yeah,
the
and he
next
thought he
day
could
or
run into
something.
there. It was just
Yeah.
super friendly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought it was an amazing experience.
I love meeting friendly people. Like
Yeah.
a lot of times, like sometimes when you think California, you don't necessarily think the most friendly of
No,
people.
I don't know. I think laid back surfers, but that's pretty
When
generic.
I think of California, I think of like people that are, and maybe like it's just because I have a bias towards like big metropolitan areas.
Yeah.
But I think of people that are just like too busy to be concerned with whatever you have going on.
Yeah.
Like that baby on board stickers on their car.
Yeah, those jerks.
But no, so that was just super nice. So fun tangent. So Kara's Pizza Millennium Falcon shirt. So there was a shirt I bought, and it just made it stand out in my brain. There's one article of clothing that I've had more compliments on than any other thing I've ever owned, and I can't believe how many people went out of their way to say, "Hey man, nice shirt," or compliment on it. Does anybody have any idea on what that
one
shirt
you're
was?
wearing.
No,
Oh.
not even close. No Star Wars shirt, nothing. It was a band, and specifically a song was on it.
Song. I'm gonna guess it was a Beatles shirt.
It was
No.
a Led Zeppelin shirt
Led Zeppelin.
with
Okay.
Stairway to
I
Heaven
didn't
on
even
it.
know you had a Led Zeppelin shirt.
It was
so-
before I met you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And so it was a Led Zeppelin shirt with,
Jamie's rocker days.
I got this shirt as Stairway to Heaven on it, and so many people stopped me like, "Hey man, nice shirt. Hey, that's a cool shirt. Where'd you get that shirt? I like that shirt." So many people commented on my Stairway to Heaven shirt. I would have never guessed that wearing a Stairway to Heaven shirt, so many people would talk to me. That's why I got rid of it. So people would stop talking to me. I'm kidding, but
That's hilarious.
random interactions. Oh, they're ridiculous.
I'm trying to think if I.
So
I
you
used to
gotta-
wear a suit to school every day.
I know.
Really, you wore a suit?
Yeah, I wore dress
Dang,
pants and a button up
Chris.
and a tie.
Dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Yep, assistant principal.
Can you imagine if working at Wendy's, if I had just showed up in whatever I wanted to wear instead of my uniform? Paul had been like,
It was, yeah, I got confused for a substitute teacher constantly. The people were like, oh.
You know what movie we just watched? Catch Me If You Can. Kara never seen
I
it.
love that movie.
Mr. What's his name when he writes
Abagnale?
Abagnale, and he writes it on the board. He pretends he's the teacher.
the subs
Yeah.
for like the entire week.
Yep, so funny. That is such a good movie.
Oh, it's so good.
It is, yeah.
Such a
Tom
good
Hanks
movie.
and Leonardo DiCaprio like at their peak.
Oh, was that a good movie? That's why I was totally. The thing is, do you realize how long? You know how long that movie is? The runtime on it?
That was like 2 hours, right?
2.5.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It's 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah, it was a long
Oh,
movie.
it's so
I love
good,
that's
though.
a true story, and that is it Frank?
Frank
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 Abagnale.
and
yeah.
Carl ended up being friends
in
for
real
life.
Two
It's
mice
like
fell in a bucket of cream.
Yeah, one gave up.
I love.
There he goes to pray.
Yep,
Yeah.
he's like Frank, would you pray for us? And he's like, there were two mice.
One mice gave up.
And the
and-
wife was like, oh, that was so inspired, or whatever
Yeah.
she said. It's like
Such a good movie. Anyway, so we got to hit Star Wars leaks, which the Latin Operation Forces shared a drone shot of the Kenobi set in England. And
yes.
it looks
Nice.
fantastic. But Chris, pull up Star Wars leaks, and then we have to read listener mail, and then that'll probably be it for the night. So get your last comments in that you want us to talk about before we wrap up, or send us some listener mail.
Scott says Virginia is the capital of baby on board stickers. So Jeremy brought that up. They have one on their car.
We got one as a gift because
Yep.
now we have a baby.
We have two. We have one.
Two
that's
stickers,
got
not
Darth
babies.
Vader.
Yep. We have a Baby Yoda one. A Baby Yoda but it's baby on board and it's Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah, we
Right.
do.
So
but,
Chris saw it. He just completely caught me off guard. He's like, Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I don't remember what I said, but
You said you're one of those people
I was a
who
dick.
think
Yeah.
your car is now more important than my life on the road. Like, forget you and your baby on boards. That's what you said to me. You're like, your life is not more important because you have a baby in there now or whatever.
I was in a mood apparently.
It just was funny
Sometimes
to
I
me.
see stuff and it just makes me like I'm just gonna say this
Just
even if
rage.
it's just me being.
Well,
a
that was
dick.
like my joke with you earlier.
Yeah.
It was like when you relieved, you find out someone's just a jerk overall.
Yeah.
And they're not just a jerk to you because it's like, oh, that's just the way they are. They don't hate me.
Yeah.
They just hate everybody equally.
Yep.
Juliet says she likes your shirt.
Oh, thank you, Juliet.
All right, so we are a Star Wars podcast. Occasionally, we need to talk about Star Wars to maintain our dignity. And what better place to go than to Reddit to get some dubious r/Star Wars leaks to talk about Star Wars.
So I know one of them is going to be the picture that the Latin Operation Force is
So we're
showing.
gonna go top of all this week.
Baby Yoda.
All right, so this is Liam Neeson says he would like to be on the Obi-Wan Disney Plus series.
I heard about that.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard for me to watch Sylvester Stallone movies anymore because of how old and slow he's moving. They absolutely slowed down. I just told you we watched The Honest Thief with Liam Neeson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He's slowing down too.
He's slowing down. Oh, like a lot.
Well, he's in his 60s now, isn't he?
He's probably older than that.
Yeah.
Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
if
saw-
he's in his 70s.
I'll look it up. You do the next leak.
I saw a funny meme.
Or you've already
And
almost got it.
so, you know how Rey uses the Force to heal
68.
to
68.
heal Kylo Ren, to
Yeah.
heal Ben. So, it shows
Obi-Wan.
Huh?
It
Yeah,
shows
the one-
Obi-Wan with
yeah.
Qui-Gon. And then a Qui-Gon laying there like, use the Force, bro. Like, heal me.
Yeah, like
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, Jeremy's better at explaining things than I am. Sorry. It was really funny, hilarious. Sorry.
Oh, so this, I think we talked
Or it's
about
got that. There's a girl with the big, like, she's got a big face, and she's like, huh? Like, did you just do that meme, right?
I think
it
so.
was that, and it was like, it was Qui-Gon.
But it was Qui-Gon
watching,
being insulted that Rey could possibly
Yeah, it was
heal
Qui-Gon.
Ben after being stabbed.
It's like surprise Pikachu face when Rey healed Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Like, dude, brah. Like,
Yeah,
you
like-
could have healed me. Like,
This was the power.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, maybe they weren't allowed to use it back then.
Yeah, right. It was a band.
right.
So this is something that we were talking about on Gabe's stream. There's a new open world Star Wars video game from Ubisoft.
Oh, yes. The license, that's a huge week to talk about. EA is no longer exclusively have rights to make Star Wars games anymore. And here's the fun thing about that. For some clarity, everybody thought that Lucasfilm or whoever canceled the license. Nope, it's only expiring. It's just they're not renewing the exclusivity. So they didn't cancel it or anything like that. The exclusivity runs up. The bad news is, sorry, 2023 is when their license technically expires. But people are starting now so the games can be released
That makes sense.
in 2023.
That does make sense.
So that's the deal where it's coming. We won't see any Star Wars. So the funny thing to me about that is I just don't understand how Telltale can make Lego Star Wars games. Is it because Lego Star Wars is licensed under its own proprietary? Is that like different enough? That they've already got a Star Wars license.
Well,
and then
so they could sub-license it from EA.
do you think they do?
They could. That would be my guess.
Got it.
Oh, Juliet says she just noticed our cute bonsai tree.
Oh yeah, we did it. We built this on a Lego on Brickable,
Juliet, these little light pink flowers are frogs.
and the plant plastic is actually made from sugarcane. So this is a plastic source that's renewable.
Biodegradable.
So, yeah, pretty cool. Scott says Fallen Order 2.
Yes, please. No, that's EA surprisingly, but that was a great game.
That was an amazing game.
But we're
They could
talking
still
like
do it.
more KOTOR maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I would.
Who makes
Remaster
Skyrim
them.
with lightsabers would be enough for me.
Right?
right?
That'd be
Well, I was just
awesome.
about to say it. Yeah. I was gonna say Bethesda. Make a Star Wars game. All right, what's another leak, Chris?
Well, this is just a fact, apparently. The Mandalorian is the first non-Netflix show
I
to top the
saw
Nielsen
that.
streaming chart.
So at one point in the week in December, it was the most streamed thing ever for that
What
week.
did we end up finding out was streamed more than The Mandalorian?
On Disney Plus, The Simpsons
Oh, that's
has
right.
more hours streamed, but there's 800,000 more hours of content.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh, I have a fun Star Wars fact for everybody. This is gonna blow people's minds. I'll save this for the last one because it's so
Oh yeah,
cool.
I know what you're gonna tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you never read the
No, that's coming. I said that's gonna come after Star Wars.
So Brad says looks like a dogwood tree. I could not identify. I can tell you if it's a pine tree or not a pine tree. That's about as far as my nature knowledge.
Do you want to finish our Star Wars talk with my fact?
I've got one more actually that I
Okay.
think is pretty good.
Okay.
And this isn't Star Wars,
What?
but this is interesting to me. There's a teaser for a new Indiana Jones game from Bethesda and Lucasfilm Games.
What?
I would love that. We're gonna have to watch that after the fact.
Yep, so I'll just keep that up so
Yeah.
you can finish
Okay, everybody.
yours.
I'm ready to blow your minds. Are you ready for this?
This blew my mind.
A New Hope to me is the perfect movie. It's one of my, it's like to me it's one of the best. Everything else aside, it's amazing. The environment, everything that we see. We have Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill. What was he? 19 years old when they filmed that movie.
Pretty young.
And you had Alec Guinness. Everyone. Mark Hamill is now the same age as Alec Guinness was when they shot A New Hope.
Oh, dang.
That's what I said. I was like, what?
Mark Hamill is now that age. That's
wild.
crazy. Isn't that absolutely crazy?
That's
And then
insane.
another fun Star Wars things I have, and this is why I love the Star Wars community. Are you guys all ready for this? Hopefully you guys have seen it. The Latin Operation Forces, you guys should share this on your page. Somebody did a concept work of what yo baby Grogu's lightsaber would look like. Okay, check this out.
Just so towards your side of the screen and then back a little bit.
If everyone could
Closer to your chair, that's where the focus point is set. Close. Yep.
Don't look at my face.
There you go.
There we go. So it's got the mud horn on it. What is on the bottom?
Oh, that's the shifter knob from
Yep.
the
That
Razor
is the
Crest.
shifter knob, right? So somebody else took that and made it into a 3D model. Super dark for some reason, but maybe we'll post a link in the description. But anyways,
That's
that is
sick.
so cool. So then guess what? That opens up a whole new door of things. Chris? They said Grogu should be able to hold the lightsaber, right? You know how they throw their lightsaber? He should be able to keep his lightsaber and then move the ball around as a weapon with the Force.
Oh, yes.
You know, like, wouldn't that be sweet? Like, he could just hit somebody with it and, like, knock, 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 and then...
That
you
would
know.
be cool.
Wouldn't that be cool?
It'd
That'd be
be,
super
it'd be like
cool.
the Yandu's whistling arrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like, yep, exactly.
Grogu's clonking ball.
Right?
Whistling arrow sounds so much cooler. Whistling
You don't
birds!
like, you don't like clonking ball.
Clonking ball. I just thought that was so cool. And then, like, the fact that somebody inspired somebody else. So, speaking of inspiration, you guys all inspire me, and listener mail is just absolutely epic. No one took the opportunity to send some since the podcast started. But
You should be disappointed in
we
yourselves.
got one from Gabe. Gabe, if you don't want me to read this, speak up now.
Too late.
Forever hold your
As I
peace.
said, there's such a lag that, I mean, you'll be done reading by the time he actually comments.
No, he's good. He could comment right now. But he just said, thank you guys and everyone in our OTP show because we showed up on his stream, and that was Wednesday. That was such a fun time. So everybody, he said
it was
thank you.
awesome.
Here's
That
the
was
thing,
so much
Gabe's
fun.
really good at
And, oh my
Battlefront.
goodness,
He's
dude,
so
at
I
Battlefront.
will never play a first-person shooter against him.
Oh
That's how good
my
he is.
goodness.
I commented that. I was like, remind me to never play
I think there was
against you.
It's
only
like we like to
one-
play Mario Kart or something.
So
Right?
you know how it highlights the best player of the match? It doesn't matter if you win or lose on what team you were on. The best player gets highlighted. I think every game we watched, there was only one time he wasn't the top player, and then he was second.
Yeah.
So it was
So,
like,
yeah, if you want to watch a good streamer, Gabe is really good.
it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I learned stuff. Like, I had played a lot of that game, but he was talking about like how Maul's kit's super weak if you don't have his cards leveled up. But he's like, forget it, I'm just gonna beat Maul. And he went on one of the longest tears with Maul versus even like Boba Fett or somebody else. Gabe, I did clip one of your moments too of he was bragging. Chris, you would have loved this. Last night he was bragging about how good PC was, and he just got absolutely just demolished. So he was like playing, and then he got killed. And he's like, PC, you can be so much better at PC, and then he got killed. It was hilarious. So I clipped it. It was so funny.
I do appreciate you switching to Rex.
That was
for me.
awesome.
Thank you. I love Rex.
And then he said that he loves the podcast because Saturday nights are so much more fun to look forward to.
Yay.
And then his inspiration to launching his Twitch channel was us.
Aw.
And to see
That's
us
awesome.
That's
go
so
to
nice.
his channel and watch him gave him a huge boost. because
You're
like,
fun to watch. You're good.
we've kind
Yeah.
of joked about that, Chris. Like, if you've inspired somebody to do something, you've made it. Like,
Yeah.
you've read me your goal as a content creator. I'm getting a little. So, anyways,
Bear's crying over there.
well, yeah, and then
So emotional.
yeah,
Camera's like,
I'm
Kara
just
would look at this
stone
and be
cold
like-
killer.
yep, nice email. Thanks. And then watching him gave him a huge boost, and then in his personality, because he's also not used to being in front of the camera, so having to balance talking to us and being on the camera,
he nailed it.
was
He was
a-
so
was a-
good.
yeah.
was a great. So he said thanks for that. He said, I'm new to the streaming world and I'm constantly trying to make improvements to my channel to make it better. Ever since I've found you guys, I've loved focusing on creating content with my spare time. So to
Yay.
everyone on the set, I love you guys and may the force be with you.
Oh, Gabe, that was so nice.
That was
So-
awesome.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's awesome.
Julian asked if he's a YouTube gamer. He streams on Twitch.
He streams on Twitch. It's really easy. If you don't want to use Twitch for anything else, you can make an account and just follow Gabe, or we stream
We
on
should
Twitch.
link his Twitch in the
We will-
description.
Oh, you know what we can do? We can host his streams.
Oh yeah, like
On-
once he's going.
yeah. So on Twitch, we can set it up, and whenever he starts streaming, if we're not, it'll just play his stream.
Oh my goodness, we need to do that.
There you go.
Chris set it up.
I'll figure it out.
That's super freaking cool.
That's awesome.
Not we only have 2 followers and one of them's
Yeah, and one of
Chimera.
those games.
One of them's Gabe, but doesn't matter. That's super cool.
It's the thought that counts.
So yeah, that's awesome.
So if you guys, I know Chris has flashed up there 50 times. You don't need to flash it up. We do have an email. If you want to send us an email, read it about. You can ask us a question. We'll answer it if you want to know those hard facts of where we want to travel to.
this is gonna be the closer.
All right.
Gwen, my sister of Stuff Lab fame, youtube.com/stufflab if you want to check it out, asked me on behalf of somebody. What's Gabe's channel name?
Okay, here we go.
Gabby
Ready?
MK7. 7? Yeah, 7.
GABY.
Hold on.
MK7.
Hold on. It's GABY MK7.
Isn't that what I just said?
We just had to confirm. So I typed it in on chat.
Got
So one of my sister's friends asked my sister to ask us, do you ever think that Chewie has the same problem as longer-haired cats with getting poop stuck in his fur?
Most definitely.
There's no way he couldn't.
He's okay. So Jeremy's told the funny story about the poop knife,
Yes.
right? Chewie's probably got a poop comb. I'm just saying, how else are you gonna clean that out? Just brush that stuff out.
He's
You know
got
what I'm
such
saying?
long, luxurious fur. There's no way that that can't be a problem.
Do you think he's got a portable bidet?
Yeah.
Like,
What does a Star Wars bathroom look like?
I don't know, but it was really funny. It probably means a lot to Chewie when they walk on the Falcon after 30 years and he's like, Chewie, we're home. And he's probably like, yes, my boudet.
that's funny.
Brad says he's got butt matting for sure.
So funny.
I can't believe, like, because she asked me like 3 or 4 times to make sure that I bring it up, and I was like, you need to message me or something because I'm not gonna remember.
That's so funny.
And
Yeah,
Now
he's-
you remembered finally.
He's probably got a mix of like a bidet and some sort of brush, or maybe a brush that squirts water. You don't know.
so
Just saying.
Can't borrow that lightsaber? Just burn it off.
Maybe he just shaves the hair around there and just
yeah, I don't know. Can you? I wonder how bad a Wookiee turd smells.
Probably pretty bad, especially after he's eaten porg.
Gosh.
This is the kind of content you come here to see, folks. Brad says, can you imagine what a Wookiee just smells like in general when it rains?
I know, right? Oh,
Oh,
wet
a
dog.
wet Wookiee. That was Han's first introduction to Chewbacca.
That's true. Yeah, covered
the
in mud.
Yeah.
Ugh, that had to be terrible.
Right?
That
Chewie
smell,
was
though.
gonna eat him.
Chewie was just being forced to be mean.
Yeah, he was doing what he had to do to survive.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a good Wookiee.
Well, folks, if you made it this far into the video, you made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. That means that, yeah, you like what we're up to, and so you should go ahead and throw a like on the video. Where the heck is the outro button? There it is. If you want to see more content like this, and so Also, take a moment. If you got some friends that like Star Wars, share this with them. They might be interested in it too, and it's always fun to build a community. Comment down below with what you think a wet Wookiee might smell like, or anything else that we've talked about today. Subscribe if you're not already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time we upload a new video or go live. We love participating with you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course,
May the force be with you.